Now, like I said, at this point, they're still surrounded, and they need to now break out to get south to a town called Hungnam, where there's a port where they're going to be extracted. They're going to be pulled out. Back to the book. 1-7, our battalion, and 2-7 were to lead the breakout from Koto Ri. 1-7 was to take the high ground east of the road, 2-7 the west. 4 miles on the MSR, the Chinese had blown out a bridge over a deep chasm. The battalion of 1st Marines, coming from the south, would take the ground that commanded the other side of that gap. Then the engineers would put in a new bridge. Beyond that was a full Army division, the 3rd, waiting to give us cover. After we crossed the bridge, the Army would take over the fighting. All we needed to do was get through a few more divisions of Chinese soldiers. So even on the division level, 10,000, we're talking cover and move. Even on the division level. So it's an individual thing, it's a squad thing, it's a platoon thing. It goes all the way up to the division level because they need to have the cover of the Army to get out of there. Here we go. Able Company went out in front. The waiting Chinese immediately put down a sheet of fire. Mortars, machine guns, burp guns, rifles. Abel's casualties soon started to return. We huddled against the blowing clouds of snow and prayed to God that Abel wouldn't get so badly mauled that we would have to take their place. Our prayers were not answered. Battalion ordered us to pass through Abel and continue the attack. Although it was daylight, we could barely see where we were going. The Chinese did not need to see us. There was only one way for us to get at them, straight along the road. They had our approach well marked and covered with their weapons. As soon as we went past Abel, the Chinese mortars began to drop and their machine guns opened. The tracers were weird streaks of orange that flew out of the blinding snow clouds. Our new corpsman was quickly put to work. The Chinese were shooting down from a hill that flanked Woody, as well as from straight ahead. Joe didn't want to send anyone up that hill, fearing he would lose them in the heavy snow. You're just getting shot at. There's clouds up there at altitude, and so you're just getting shot from snow. It's like a cloud that's shooting machine gun fire at you. It's a nightmare. Back to the book, we were getting nowhere. Joe Kursaba was standing alongside the road behind Lee's platoon. He called me over to him. Bullets zinged and shrapnel whined around us, but Joe stood straight, and I stood with him. He had decided to risk a move up the hill on the left flank. Move your platoon up there, Joe. Oh, by the way, at this point, Joe had taken over a platoon. He was no longer just in charge of the mortars. Now one of the sergeants was in charge of the mortars. So he's now in charge of a rifle platoon. Move your platoon up there, Joe, he instructed me. See if you can take those guns out. They're killing us. He spread out his map and traced the route that I was to follow. He fell silent. A Chinese bullet had found its target, just below the rim of his helmet in the center of his forehead. A small black hole appeared there. Joe Kursaba's dead eyes stared at me for several seconds before he slumped slowly to the ground. I caught him in my arms as he fell and held him for a moment. Then I lowered him gently into the snow. Jesus, God. Joe Kursaba, my friend, Joe, who had helped me so much, shown me so much, who had gone to bat for me with Captain Wilcox, who had been my big brother. Joe Kursaba, whom I loved. Taking the mat from his mittened hands, I went forward to give it to Lee and inform him that he was the new company commander. On the way over, I got on my walkie-talkie to tell battalion that Kursaba was KIA. Their CP was close behind and the walkie-talkie worked. Through the murk, I spotted Lee's vest. He was walking the line behind his men who were prone in the snow, covering 50 yards of front. Lou Pacini with the bar was with him. I felt alone without Kelly. The Chinese fire was passing overhead high. The enemy couldn't see us either. Kursaba's dead, I told Lee. Caught one in the head. Damn, was all Lee said in response. You're the new skipper, I added, giving him the map. Joe told me to go up the hill on Woody's flank, see if I can get around those guns and take them out. You still want me to do that? We must do something, Lee said. They're killing us from up there. That's what Joe said. Yes, see what you can do. Is your radio working? Yeah, I just talked to battalion on it. Okay, let me know the situation when you make it and when you're ready to attack. If we can get artillery, I don't want you to run into friendly fire. Aye, aye, Skipper, I said. First Lieutenant Lee gave me a ironic little smile at that.